Hey guys, tried twice now to film this top 10 list, but twice I have missed the time limit that YouTube has set, so I'm going to try to get going right away with this. This is the top 10 plot holes in really good movies. Now, by really good movies, I mean these were either successful in the box office, critically acclaimed, or just generally thought of as good movies, or all of the above, or two of the three. They're, in at least one way, thought of as good movies. Now, before I get started, let me just say, Lord of the Rings fans, you can calm down. Lord of the Rings is not on this list. A lot of people have problems with it, but a lot of people also explained what the problem is and gave a solution to it. So, to kind of not add to the controversy of what is or is not a plot hole in Lord of the Rings, I decided to just completely take it off the list. And number two, this is not like if this was the real world or scientifically that couldn't happen. This is going along with the logic of the movie and going along with, the kind of precedence that was set in the movie. Is there still a huge plot hole? So like I said, I'm going to get started right away. Number 10, we have The Godfather. Now, this is a great movie. I love this movie. Pretty much everybody loves this movie. But there's a huge problem with one of the main scenes of the movie, and that's the horsehead scene. Now, for those of you who don't remember or haven't seen it, this guy wakes up with his prize horse's head in his bed. Problem with this is that a guy would have to either look for, borrow, or buy a saw that is capable of chopping off a horse's head, which doesn't seem that bad until you have to ask for something that is capable of chopping off a horse's head. And let's say you can do that without throwing up any red flags to somebody. You still have to break into the stable, cut the horse's head off without alerting anybody in the house, and I'll even give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume he's the only guy in the house. You still have to chop off the horse's head, break into the house, break into the guy's room, slip it under the bed sheets, and not wake him up. Doesn't seem that complicated until you really think about it. Now, I'm a heavy sleeper, so I'll even give myself as an example. If someone chopped off my horse's head, one, I think I would hear that horse and any other horses freaking the hell out. And even if I didn't, I'm pretty sure I would either hear someone breaking into my house or trying to break into my room, and I would definitely feel someone put what I'm assuming is a 100-pound horse head into a bed that is dripping with blood, soaking me and the entire bed. Now, I don't know if anyone has spilled water on themselves when they were sleeping or anything like that, but you wake up instantly when that happens. So I can assume that if a horse is dripping blood all over me, I'm gonna wake up. Moving on to number 9, we have Back to the Future. Now, YouTube this if you want more detail about it, because there's about 5 minutes worth of things that could be wrong with this movie, and I can't cover that because I only have a certain amount of time on this video. Main problem is his mom, Marty's mom. She has a thing for Marty when they're in high school, when he goes back in time, and then she just doesn't realize that her son looks identical to the dude that she was basically falling in love with. Now, I'm a freshman in college, so I remember high school pretty well. But I also remember the faces vividly of people that I talked to maybe once a week. So, excuse me, I think if I had a child that looked identical to someone that I talked to in high school, let alone someone that this chick was in love with in high school, it would set off a red flag, like maybe something is wrong here. My child shouldn't look identical to someone that I was in love with in high school. But like I said, if you want more, YouTube, Google it, because there's a lot more to that. Number 8, we have Superman. Now, this has been on one of my personal lists as being a good movie before. So it's a good movie, except for the ending. In the end, Superman finds out Lois Lane is dead, so he tries to fly around the Earth to reverse the spin and go back in time and save her. 2 reasons why this wouldn't work. And one of them is when people try to explain it as, no, he's just traveling fast enough to change time. That's not how it works. You Google this too, but I'll give you a little short summary of that. If you go super, super fast, close to or fast as the speed of light, time affects you differently. So Superman would feel time affecting him differently, but the time would still go the same on Earth. So he would only be affected for a short period of time, while the same amount of time had passed on Earth. So time wouldn't be going backward, it would be basically him traveling into the future. And 2, if you did reverse the spin of the Earth, instead of saving the one person you were trying to save, you would pretty much just kill every single person on Earth. Moving on to number 7, we have probably my favorite movie of all time. I have 2 copies of it in my room right now. It's The Shawshank Redemption. This is a great movie. I love this movie. But you're going to tell me, for years and years and years and years and years, nobody's going to notice the giant ass hole that's behind this poster. Now, the poster changes And they set it up in the beginning where the warden says, I can't say I approve of this, but I guess we can allow it. Now, by the end of the movie, the warden basically hates Andy. So, he, being the vengeful guy that he is, he would probably end up destroying the cell and tearing down the post and finding the giant hole in the wall. Not to mention they toss the cells a bunch of times, so not one time did a guard lean up against the wall and now all of a sudden he's in the wall. Oh shit, Andy's been digging a hole. Now, assuming that all of that could work out in Andy's favor and nobody would find the hole, when he tries to break through the shit pipe to crawl out, he first is straddling a pipe that looks like it couldn't fit any sized human, even little skinny shit Andy Dufresne. So he breaks the pipe with a rock, sticks his head in a hole that's about this big, just enough for him to fit his head and the flashlight. And it's a pipe that, like I said, is not big enough to fit a human, yet all of a sudden he's digging through the pipe like this with you know, it's kind of a cramped fit, but he's got room to spare. So it's just either poorly filmed or poorly written. It's a Stephen King thing, so I mean, probably wasn't poorly written, but it's just something that slipped through. Not to mention that this shit pipe just leads to a pond that, I mean, it's just this open pipe that's flowing the shit of every inmate in Shawshank just into this little pond in the middle of nowhere. Moving on to number 6, we have The Hunger Games. Now, this is another good movie. Problem is the careers. The careers are the people from Districts 1, 2 who train for 18 years and then volunteer to be in the Hunger Games so that way they can be set for life when they win it. Now, when you see them training, you see them doing some awesome shit, being super accurate with throwing knives, bows, everything like that. But then all of a sudden, when Katniss climbs a tree that's, you know, she's maybe 30 feet high, nobody can hit her in any way, shape, or form. I mean, a dude standing directly below her shooting arrows at her misses twice, I think, 2 or 3 times, and then just gives up. Not like, let me try at a different angle, because she's in a fucking tree. She's not going anywhere. But no, I'm just going to take 2 or 3 shots from one angle, miss, and then decide to completely just give up. We'll try again in the morning and ignore the fact that we're in a murder game and we might die tonight. And then I guess we'll try things that we should have tried tonight, but we'll try them tomorrow. And then she escapes by cutting down a tracker jacker nest. She should be dead. The tribute should have killed her, and she should be dead, and then they probably would have won. Moving on to number 5, we have The Sixth Sense. Now, this is a great movie with one of the greatest plot twists in the history of movies. The whole movie basically goes like this. Bruce Willis is a therapist-type psychiatrist dude. He gets shot. Next fall, he works on another kid who has similar problems with the kid that shot him. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, skip forward in the video right now because I'm about to spoil the ending. Bruce Willis is a ghost. He's dead. You find out at the end that when he got shot, he died, but he didn't know it, so he goes on as a ghost. And they try to clear up all plot holes by saying, you know, ghosts only see what they want to see, and some of them don't know they're dead, and all that good stuff. But it's shown in the movie that Bruce Willis acknowledges other people exist because he doesn't know he's dead when he talks to his wife. Now, at first, you think she's just a cold, heartless bitch because she ignores him every time, but then you realize, oh shit, she can't see him, he's dead. The thing with that is that would happen with every single person you tried to communicate with. Anytime you tried to order food or order a pizza or talk to anybody or, you know, get the mail from the mailman, anything, nobody would acknowledge the fact that he's alive because he's not. I mean, they would just completely ignore him, and for months it's not going to throw up a red flag like, hey, why isn't any human being on the face of the earth acknowledging the fact that I'm alive, except this one little kid that I'm going to meet in a few months who sees dead people, not throwing up a red flag, which would be really funny if it did because red is a motif in that movie, so I would think it would be hilarious if he was followed by a red flag the whole movie. That would be kind of funny. Anyway, moving on. Number 4, we have Citizen Kane. Now, this is a classic movie of all classic movies. If you don't know the movie, I promise you, you know the line from the movie that I'm about to talk about. At the very beginning of the movie, when the guy whispers Rosebud and then dies, and he drops a little snow globy thing. I don't even know what that was. But he whispers Rosebud. Everybody knows that. It's been parodied probably 1,000 times. The problem with this is that everyone in the movie knows and is wondering why he whispers Rosebud when he dies. The thing is, if you watch the movie, at the very beginning, nobody else is in the room when he says it. There's a lady in the doorway maybe 10, 15 feet away, but there's no way she could hear him. He whispered it. So how is it if nobody heard him say it, How does everybody know he said it? There's a huge problem there. Nobody would know it. Nobody would care. They'd just be like, oh shit, this guy's dead. End of the movie right there. Anyway, moving on. Number 3. Star Wars fans, please don't hate me or kill me, and please don't stop watching my videos for this. But it's Star Wars 3: The Empire Strikes Back. The problem isn't with the main theme of the story. It's with something that could drastically affect the main theme of the story. It's basically when Han and Luke split up because Luke wants to go train to be a Jedi. Now, when Han leaves, the Millennium Falcon gets captured basically the second it lands by Darth Vader. And then Luke goes, spidey senses, and is like, oh, my friends are in trouble, I gotta go save them. The thing with that is he had probably only been training with Yoda to be a Jedi for what I assume is only a few hours, but for the sake of argument, I'll give him maybe a week or two. But still, at the beginning of the movie, he didn't know what a Jedi was. Yet with, at most, a week or two's worth of training, he's all of a sudden the greatest Jedi to ever live. I understand the Force is strong with him. He's still only trained for a week, if that. So how is it that all of a sudden, he's just the greatest Jedi ever, even when he barely trained? Go try to be the greatest anything you can think of. Only train for a week and see if you're the greatest. I promise you it won't happen. And that's not saying anything against you. I'm sure you're great. I'm sure you could be great. But the thing is, if you train for only a week, you're not going to be the greatest to ever exist. I promise you. You got to train longer. A lot longer. And it's not like he was there for like 10 years training. It was hours to days to weeks. So there's no way he could be the strongest Jedi to ever exist. Number 2, we have Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, this is probably the greatest Indiana Jones. Like, 1 and 3 are the best. The problem with this, if you've seen The Big Bang Theory, you know the problem. The problem is, Indiana Jones is useless. No matter what happens, with or without Indiana Jones, the Nazis find the Ark, open the Ark, and all die. With Indiana Jones steals the little, the medallion thing, and the guy who has it burned onto his hand digs in the wrong spot. Then they find the Ark by digging in the right spot, and then they find the Ark, open the Ark, and die. Without Indiana Jones, they have the medallion in the first place, so they end up digging in the right spot in the first place, and guess what happens? They find the Ark, open the Ark, and die. The only difference is where the Ark ends up at the end of the movie, whether it's right where they all died because nobody else knows they found it, or in the warehousing where Indy put it because he knew where it was when they all died. Either way, like I said, find the Ark, open the Ark, die. That's what happens, no matter what. Number 1, we have Harry Potter. Now, I'm not going to specify what movie has the plot hole, because they all have the plot hole. The plot hole is introduced in movie and book 3. That's the thing with this. It's in the movies and the books. Now, in the third one, if you don't remember, Hermione uses this little time changer thing to go back in time, and she uses it, they explain it, so that way she could be in 2 classes at once. And that's explained, like I said, in the book and in the movie. Now, in that movie, they use the little time changer thing to do multiple things. Not that great. They use it for, like I said, Hermione to go to 2 different classes at one time. They use it to save Hagrid's pet and to stop a werewolf from killing Harry. Great things. Awesome. But you didn't think to use the thing where you can go back in time during movies and books 5, 6, and 7 when Voldemort is having this gigantic fucking wizard war that kills hundreds of people? What? I mean, this thing can go back in time. Just all of a sudden you're back in time, kill him, capture him, do whatever you want as Voldemort. Keep him in the little weird trained fetus thing that he has, or before he even exists. Stop all that from happening because Harry knows, Dumbledore knows. Well, spoiler alert, he's dead. Not Harry, Dumbledore. Well, I guess Harry too in the 7th, but he comes back. Long story. But anyway, they know the whole course of history. All you gotta do is cut one link in that chain to stop Voldemort from becoming Voldemort again and killing hundreds of people. So you kill him, you kill someone who helps bring him back, and then all of a sudden, no Voldemort, no wizard death, no war. But no, they're just going to let all of these wizards die because, hey, we used it in the 3rd one, it wouldn't be fun to use it again. It just makes no sense. It completely ruins basically the entire franchise. It's a great franchise, but it has this gaping plot hole in it. Anyway, got less than a minute left, so that ends the list. If you agree with me or you like this, like it, leave me comments. If you don't like it, leave me comments. Tell me what you think. maybe you'll change my mind. I hope you do, because I hate the fact that I keep thinking about all these plot holes. As always, please subscribe. Could always use more fans. Tell your friends, and I'll see you guys soon. See you later.